Hi, this is Jitin here. Welcome back to HighLevel Techie. And today we are going to connect our HighLevel Techie website to its domain. So let me show you how you can connect a HighLevel website to your domain in the proper way. So let's dive into it. First of all, the thing that you need to understand is that there are multiple places where you can add this domain to your website. Let's go and see all the places where you can add a domain to your website. Okay. So the first place is the website builder itself. So here I'm inside my website builder, and you can see at the top, this is a new addition. You can now access your preview link straight inside the website builder if the domain is not connected. Now, if you click here on connect domain, this is where you can actually connect your domain. So I'm going to click here to connect domain, and it will take me to this pop-up, and this is where I can select the domain and connect that domain. But in order to select the domain, you have to add the domain first. This is a fresh account. We haven't added the domain yet. So we have to first add the domain. In order to do that, we click add or edit domain here, and it will take you to the settings page where you can add a domain. If you're working on a fresh account, what you can actually do is go to your sub account settings like this, and then find this domain here. So this will also take you to the same page as what you're seeing now. And this is where you can add a new domain. So let's click add a new domain to add highleveltechie.com as the domain. So I'm going to click add domain here, and my domain URL is highleveltechie.com. Now you can see I just added the root domain without www in front of. Then HighLevel would ask you if you want to add www.root domain as well. So in this case, I would want to add that. By default, this option would be toggled on. So a lot of people out of habit usually type www in front of any website. So it's a good idea to add this record as well. So now we have our URL ready, and there are two ways to do it. If your DNS records are handled by Cloudflare, all you have to do is click continue, and then this will get added automatically. But in case your domain name server is still under a provider like GoDaddy, Namecheap, something like that, what you could do is add those records manually. In order to add the records manually, you click here, add record manually, and then you can see A record and C name records are the one we need to add for this domain to work. So A name record points to the root domain, and in most of the hosts, the root domain is represented by this symbol at, and then this is a value you need to connect to that root domain. Now we are also saying that we also need a www version of the website, which is basically a subdomain. www is a subdomain, and we are saying that the canonical name of the root domain is www, and you need to point that to this value. So once you add those details into your DNS records manually, what you have to do is verify records. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click continue here. And then this would check where is my domain is posted. And if it is Cloudflare, it would tell you to authorize the domain. So all I need to do now is to click authorize. If you want to double check, you can click here, and you can see the same records, A record and C name record is being added. All you have to do is click authorize domain and log into your Cloudflare account. So that's why it's wonderful to have Cloudflare managing your domain name. So let me quickly show what you can do if you have a Cloudflare account or if you have some other account. Okay. So this is my Namecheap account. So I have a few domains here. And if I'm using Namecheap to manage my DNS settings, what I can do here is that I would come to advanced DNS section, and then you can see there are some records here, CNAME and A record. So what I need to do now is to either edit this record or delete this record and add a new record. And to add a new record, I would say add a new record, and what I want is to add an A record, and host would be at to represent the root domain, and this is where I would add that IP address I get from HighLevel. If you are pointing the root domain with at, you can only have one error code, otherwise there would be a conflict. So if you find any error code that is pointing to your root domain, you probably need to delete that or edit that and replace it with the current IP address value. Otherwise, you are pointing the same name to two different places and it will get confused. Okay, so that's something that you need to remember. Similarly, here you can see the CNAME record is already present with www. So you have to either delete this or edit this to update the value that you get from HighLevel. Now I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing in Cloudflare manually. Now we are in my Cloudflare account. This is where I am managing my domain name for this particular domain. You can see I'm under DNS and under records, and this is where I can add or remove any records. So now to manually add, what I have to do is click add a record and select the type, which is A, and then the name would be at for the root domain, and IP address is required, which we get from HighLevel. We go back to HighLevel and we copy this value, and you come back here and add that value here. You don't need this to be proxied. You can just keep it as DNS only. Once you've done that, you click save. And similarly, if you want to add a CNAME record, how you would go here and select CNAME, and then this would be www, and the target would be the value that you get copied from HighLevel, which is this one. You copy this, and once you're done, you click save here. This is how you manually do it. But what I'm going to do now is go here and I'm going to authorize this domain and show you how this is done automatically. So I click authorize domain. Now you can see these are the values that are going to get added to my Cloudflare, and this is asking me to authorize again. So I'm click authorize now. It might take about 30 seconds or so. It's still updating. And when it is done, all we have to do is verify this domain. Now you can see there is a new message on the pop-up. Domain is added successfully. And this is where you link the domain to a website. To link the domain with a funnel or a website, you click here from the drop down. You would get access to your funnels and websites that you build. So I have one funnel and one website. So I'm going to select my website here. And then I have to select which is the default funnel step or default website page. So I'm going to select my home page. You can also see there are other 3 pages, but I want my default page to be the home page. So I select home, and there are some additional options as well. If you want to set your default 404 or error page to a certain page, you can do so. So ideally it could be your website homepage, or if you have built out a 404 page specifically, you can redirect them to that page as well. If you don't select anything, it will show you HighLevel's default 404 error page. Okay, so now once we select all that, we're going to link domain. Once we link the domain, your website is pretty much good to go. Sometimes you might see like a warning here. It is quite normal because you have added www in front of your root domain. So when you add that, it also adds a redirect. So if you go to this tab here, URL redirects, you can see by automatically a redirect has been created for www domain name to this destination domain name. So what happens is that even though we are familiar with www, one thing we need to understand is that that is actually a subdomain. So when you're typing www.root domain, you're trying to access a subdomain of that root domain. Even though we consider them to be the same, but they are not the same. They are a root domain and a subdomain. So similarly, how you set up like app.highlevel.com doesn't go to highlevel.com. Similarly, www.root domain doesn't necessarily need to go to the same domain, but we are saying that when someone types that in, we want them to take you to the same domain. That's why we have this redirect set up here. So this is a wildcard entry. So whenever someone types anything after this, That's why we have this slash asterisk. It will take you to a similar page, the root domain slash that path. This is why the warning is added here. There's nothing you need to worry about. Now let's try and access our website for the first time. Let's go to HighLevel. So if everything works perfectly, yes, you can see the website is live. Now let me see how it looks on WW version. And it should, yes, it is also working. So now we have successfully connected our website to our domain. This is how you can connect your GoHighLevel website to your domain. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. So that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.